live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hi everybody, and welcome to an exciting, adventurous Ask an Engineer. We're here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. doing the show, and here we are again, yet another week. Me, Lady Ada, with me, Mr. Lady Ada. Also, the twin hinges of death.
That's right.
3D printed, are here, and we're going to have an exciting hour of making creativity, news, new products, videos, and more. Questions at the end.
That's right.
What's on tonight's show, Mr. Lady Ada?
Tonight's show, the code is They Live. 10% in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Just gets you 10% off everything except for gift certificates. It supports us, an open source hardware company. Here are some of the people that make the things, ship the things, code the things, all the things from the Adafruit store and more. Show and tell, people around the world showing and sharing their projects. Lady Ada will go over the show and tell this week. Lots of great projects. Back to Mailbag's going to stop by. We're going to read your emails and letters to us. Time travel, look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, engineers, science, news, all of that and more. Made in New York City. This is some factory footage. 3D printing, projects from Noah and Pedro. New products. We'll answer your questions. Don't forget, we're in Discord, adafruit.it/Discord. Hang out there now and all the time. We're about 3,500 people strong. Have some top secret, a trivia question, all that and more on, you guessed it,
Dun,
Ask
dun,
an
dun.
Engineer.
Yay!
Okay, so let's get some bill paying out of the way.
Yes.
Because They Live, we have free stuff in the store.
That's
Lady,
right.
what is the free stuff we have?
$99 or more, you get a free Perma-Proto half-size breadboard. So fancy.
Yes.
$200 or more, you get free UPS ground shipping. Look at this lovely truck, which represents the UPS ground shipping.
Meep, meep.
And $299 or more, you will get a free Circuit Playground Express or Premier favorited best of all time educational electronic board.
Yeah.
And you can use it to write code and make code. CircuitPython or Arduino, so it's great as a gift, or if you want to just make something cool, it has jam-packed full of sensors, capacitive touch, buttons, and more.
Okay.
All that available if you purchase stuff from the Adafruit store. And you can use a discount code.
You can.
So do both. Get discounts and free.
Someone asked how we got the little UPS truck. Turns out that's the actual size UPS truck. We just made a big Perma-Proto, a big circuit.
Yeah, they're
playground.
massive. I mean, like, they're
No.
very hard to store.
No, just kidding. I think because you know,
It's a gift,
we give
no?
UPS like millions of dollars over the years, so I think you get
You
a
get
little
like a
truck.
$5 toy truck.
You
yeah.
get a truck. Speaking of shipping, so we have a few different ways to get your packages. UPS, we suggest that one, so it's trackable, it's reliable, it's UPS ground. It's not the like fake short post, smart post thing. It's
No.
UPS.
Fully tracked to your door.
We also have Postal Service, all 50 states, also international, and then DHL, prepaid customs, everything's taken care of before it gets to you, so you just get it. That's for our international customers. We also have same-day shipping. If you're in New York City, before 11 a.m., you can check out, and if it's a zip code within Manhattan, you can get it same day. Just do that before 11 a.m. I guess I have to mention this because
Look, the Bitcoins are falling.
math beanie babies are in the news. So we've been accepting Bitcoins, I think, for like 4 years or so. But if you have Bitcoins and you're just like, it's going to crash soon, you could spend it in the Adafruit store. We take BitPay. So on checkout, it's one of the options. But anyways, we have it.
It's been there forever, so.
All right. Lady Ada, show and tell. People around the world showing and sharing their projects.
It's true.
What was on the show and tell this week?
We had so many people on the show and tell. We had Aaron, who is learning 3D printing and modeling and making a unicorn horn with a Gem M0 that has capacitive touch. So when you touch it, the horn changes color. So she's making a unicorn outfit. Colin has 3 gigantic keyboard buttons, and he's making a gigantic. He has like a color switcher now, but he's going to make a keyboard input. Noah and Pedro have this week's 3D Hangouts project, the thermal camera. We'll show a video about that. Really nice thermal camera project. Then we have, it's based off the Diana camera, so if you're interested in about the history of toy cameras, listen up, because they talk about how they came up with the design. Coding Pro got a 3D printer for the holidays and has been 3D printing Lego models and DIY Lego compatible bricks. Maybe making some cool, unique bricks, and they work. They snap into real Legos. JMK is working on the JMK watch. This week added color changing text And there's a new What is JMKOS video.
Coming soon.
So if you Google for, I don't have the link offhand, but if you Google for JMKOS, maybe there's a video.
He was uploading it, and then we'll post it on our site.
We'll post it.
Yep.
Because you're interested in what is JMKOS. You can use it. It's free.
Yeah.
Blitz City had a NeoPixel RGBW ring and realized it fits perfectly on her GoPro. So she made a little camera ring light for GoPro using the RGBW NeoPixels that we have. They have RGB but also white LED, and so you get nice natural light, and she said like looked really good. And a little controller with a trinket or something. Carson had a NeoPixel shoe that he made for Funky Shoe Day at school, and he had the funkiest shoes. A Gemma and some NeoPixels. Very funky. And then also made a Raspberry Pi gift camera in a cardboard box with like built-in battery charging and like indicator lights, and like, you know, it'll tell you it's like making these gifts for you, and then it gets you on a card. GB made an LED driver with shift registers and decoders on a breadboard. It's a little flaky. He's going to work on it, maybe come back and show us when it's being more consistent. Dave A made two, like the twin Hinges of Death projects with CircuitPython, a little mini CircuitPython game with the Joy Wing and the Dot Star Wing where you kind of drive through like a...
Yeah, he's really pushing what you can do with CircuitPython on
he wrote a library for
it was cool.
Managing the dot stars. And then also made an LED sand toy, only with like 10 pixels, but it does work.
Boop, boop.
Yeah, when you move it, it shifts up and down. Katney made a Lightbox controller and needed 2 button shims on her Raspberry Pi. So she wanted to get both working, but they had the same I2C address, so she hand soldered a little wire to change the I2C address on one, and it looks like it's going to work, so that's the next step. John Swope went to PAX. It's like a gaming conference. We made a shirt that had NeoPixels and used our Bluefruit feather and Android to emit an Eddystone URL that then anyone could find, go to a web page, and then it used web Bluetooth to communicate locally. So it was like you're using Chrome, but it's communicating over Bluetooth.
Yeah, I was saying that like the prophecy has finally come true. The promise of this feature.
This has been
this is the first time. This is the first time we've seen it in the wild.
I think it's been discussed
happening.
for years. Yeah,
it's happening.
This is. I was like, wow, you're the one. Like, there's somebody got it working.
So maybe we'll get a guide. Or
so
something
yeah,
like
this
that.
is. I've never seen it. I was like, I've heard about this like conceptually.
Yeah,
but
it's like one day USB like
one
access
day.
in Chrome. Like
USB
one day.
Bluetooth. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, somebody did. And then Adam has been imaging seaweed. Got a sputterer, so that's cool. So he's going to sputter the heck out of stuff and then put them to the SEM.
Yep.
Seaweed looks cool, and he's debugging some ground noise. But he also is looking at the nth light LED strips, and they're really cool.
Yeah, you should watch this video because it has manufacturing process, and you can see how these, his analogy was these look like little tiny blood cells, and then how the wires are connected, and then he looked at the patent and the process in which, so that was really neat.
Yeah, cool updates.
Okay.
That's it.
All participants on the Show and Tell get an as seen on the Show and Tell sticker. Just email support@adafruit.com, and we will send you out one. This is part of the Adafruit Live series of shows. We started something new. So Instagram is really popular, and they have live video features. They have all these things. So we did an Instagram story. So if you haven't already, go to instagram.com/Adafruit, or if you ever have Instagram, just search for Adafruit. We have Adafruit, and we're putting like behind the scenes stuff. We're doing lots of things. They keep adding more Snapchat competitor features because I think they're like, let's go after Snapchat. But they keep adding stuff. So we did an unboxing. I think that we are connoisseurs of subscription box services.
Yeah.
We ship a subscription box service called AdaBox. I'll talk about that later. But, and this is the origin story, years and years ago when we first met, one of the things when it started Adafruit, I'm like, it'd be cool to do an electronic subscription box.
Yeah, and I was like, we only have 4 kits in the store. What would people subscribe to?
And I actually tried to convince Make into doing that because we went to Japan and we saw there was a magazine and it was a kit that was attached to it. And Make was a quarterly, and it's just, it's a complex project. Trust us, we know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Comic Book Girl 19, one of my favorite YouTube and video reviewer of comics and just like kind of all things in the comic book world, started coming up with a series of subscription boxes. And on my to-do list is like One Day Electronics, and then like Dune, and then like Watchmen, and like Transmet, and like V for Vendetta, and Sandman. There's a lot of comics that kind of go with a subscription idea, and then like you
and
read,
are good for goths.
and then you read it together. Yeah, pretty much any gothy, creepy stuff right here. So, anyways, we did a live unboxing. This was Comic Book Girl 19's Watchmen Club box, and you know, she has a black cat. It's named Beans, and she has a robot, very similar to what we do. So, like, I can't watch many things. I'm just like, oh, does it have a black cat and like a lady with different color hair?
Yeah,
Cool.
yes,
I can watch it. That's
Good.
that's what the parental filters that you set on everything I have. That's the only thing I can watch. Does it have a lady with different color hair, and is there a black cat involved? Comic books, cool. So that's how it works. So anyways, we broadcasted live. This was the setup, and I just wanted to point out, so this subscription box comes with the Watchmen comic, comes with the sticker sheet, comes with a pin. Some of that stuff in the background is mine, but that's the pin I'm wearing right now too. So good work, Comic Book Girl 19. I know what it's like to work on subscription services for thousands of people.
Yeah.
So anyways, if you like AdaBox and you're interested in like comics, this is one to check out. That's one of the things that we want to do. If there's other cool subscription services out there, boxes, we'll help get the word out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Subscribe to both.
Yeah. Okay. John Park's Workshop. John Park did a very cool guide. This was actually for a friend of ours, and we're like, hey JP, can you do this? So this is the wind blowing emoji, and one we know she's dressing up as this emoji. So we're like, oh, we can turn this into a real thing where when you blow on the little bit of fuzz, it'll glow. And so JP did this, the wind emoji and coin box for his weekly, and every single week JP does JP's workshop. So this will give you an idea. He did it with Make Code, super easy project, and then he goes and talks about the coin box. Code plus community, CircuitPython. We have a lot of stuff that we're doing with CircuitPython. Do you want to talk about anything for the beta or what's happening soon? Because I have this. Yeah. So what's going on?
We got this cool graphic. Okay.
Yeah. What's
so
happening
cool
right now?
stuff that's happening. Beta 3.0 is being worked on. We recently merged in NRF 52.832 support.
Yeah.
So if you have an NRF 52 based board or device, you can check it out. You'll have to compile it yourself, but it's in the code base. You can just follow, just make NRF 52. And then we're working on the Bluetooth stack and API for that as well. So the hardest part is just coming up with the API for the Bluetooth Low Energy. But so far, we have some stuff worked out. I think we have a scanning demo, and you can use it as both peripheral or central. So you can use it connect to a phone, or you can use it to connect to a Bluetooth device, which is really neat. Also, we have a ton more libraries out. Tony Nicole has been writing a lot of libraries. So RFM69 radio modules, those got done. I know the thermal printer library is also just about being wrapped up. One wire DS18B20 sensors that got wrapped up last week. And that's been added. And more. So check out, subscribe to the newsletter because we do
Not
announce.
only that, hang out in Discord.
Or hang out in Discord.
In the CircuitPython channel. So that's our CircuitPython.
Or subscribe to the CircuitPython GitHub repo, and you can just see,
You can see all the action.
everything coming through. So 3.0 ahead is what's going on.
Yeah, and because we have a lot of new viewers, we got this email today. They're like, oh, what can Circuit Playground, the board, do? And I'm like, oh, you know what? We made a video. And I said, I'll show it on the show tonight. So here we go. You did a video. What is
We did.
Circuit Playground? Where can you use it? And do you
I
have
did this video like a year ago.
Yeah, we've been working
Jeez.
on this for a while.
Yeah.
So
Take it away.
take it away, past you.
Old me. Younger me.
Hey, Lady Ada, what are you up to?
Oh, hey AdaBot. I was just programming my Circuit Playground.
Playground? That sounds like fun. What can you do with it?
You can do a lot with a Circuit Playground, like detect motion, measure temperature,
Brr, that is cold.
sense light, touch, and sound too.
Hello! La 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 la.
It even has a buzzer built in.
Wow, Circuit Playground can do lots of interesting things.
Yep, and the best part is you can combine all of these abilities to make really cool projects.
Like what kind of projects?
Like a tilt sensor, detect a heartbeat, a musical instrument, or even interactive games.
I won!
And those are just a few examples. Get creative and you can make pretty much anything you imagine.
Excellent. So, how do you tell Circuit Playground what to do?
Easy. First, you write your code. Then, you upload that code to your Circuit Playground. You can choose how you want to write and upload the code. Circuit Playground works with Microsoft PXT, Arduino IDE, Arduino Create, or CircuitPython.
This is awesome. I'm gonna go get started on my first project. Thanks.
Hey, I was using that.
Thank you, AdaBot, and thank you, Lady Ada.
Yay.
Back at the mailbag, we read these letters to you every single week. This week's letter comes from Pat. I personally want to thank you for just being you. Well, that's good. It's hard to, you know what? It's really hard to be anything else lately. I tried. This old retired FAE, I did put Intel inside the Hubble among well over 1,000 other design wins at a DIST, FAE, so field application engineer. While Anthem, Arrow, Avnet, representing Intel and dozens of others like TI. Pat. Thanks, Pat.
Oh, thanks, Pat.
High praise. Okay, time travel. Look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, engineers. We have this on the blog every single week, and it's like what's happened in the last, decade, 100 years, whatever recorded history, and then we also have the news. This is sad, but it is part of space travel. So 15 years ago, STS 107 disintegrated in returning to orbit. This was the crew. The insignia, their names were Brown, Clark, Chalwa, Anderson, Raymond, McCool, and husband. And this is at Arlington Cemetery. And, it's just one of those things where, like, this is what space travel is like.
Yeah.
And Columbia went up on, it was January 16th, and then on February 1st is when it happened. And, something good can come out of these things. And I think that we're slowly but surely starting to restart the space endeavors. It's a little different than I think people imagine. It's more private enterprise. But that being said, I'm in comic book reading season, and if you ever wanted to read a really good space story, Orbiter was dedicated to the STS-107 crew, and Warren Ellis was one of the writers, and that was specifically called out on that. So anyways, read the history of these things. The history of the Columbia and the entire spatial program is amazing. Wikipedia is one of the best sources. You can see the mission logs. You can see how it was different from the other ones. Some of them retired out. Some of them they continued to work on. Anyways, reusable spacecraft, that was in our lifetime. I grew up in Florida, and I wasn't too far from Cape Canaveral, and as a little kid, I'd walk out and I'd see the space shuttle go up.
Cool.
And you could feel the ground move. Yeah,
Neat.
It was amazing. Okay, other time travel. So this is news. Allie was here not too long ago, and she's doing some interesting stuff. This is a prototype that she's working on, and I'm just going to have her take it away. This is young people helping with assistive technology, and her show is really good. I subscribe to her YouTube channel, so check it out.
This week I'm going to tell you how I picked my problem for the Discovery Education 3M Young Scientist Challenge 2017. The problem that I used for this challenge stemmed from my grandfather's use of an incentive spirometer, a toy that I got for Christmas, and my fear of medical equipment. This year for Christmas, I got a toy that shot foam darts every time you blew through the tube. I realized that the more I used it, the better that I got at it, so then my mom said, "Hey, this must be good lung therapy." Then I remembered my grandfather who used an incentive spirometer for lung therapy. Then I wondered why you couldn't add the two together, foam darts and spirometry, to make a more fun alternative for kids in children's hospitals.
These devices measure the volume of air and/or the flow of air that can be inhaled or exhaled. My innovation revolutionizes this piece of medical equipment by adding the incentive back into the incentive spirometer. My plan is to turn it into a functional suction cup dart toy.
Currently, my prototype works by measuring the differential air pressure blown through a venturi tube. The venturi tube starts off with a larger diameter and ends in a smaller diameter, causing the air pressure to change as it is forced into a smaller space. My sensor picks up this difference and reads it through a programmable Arduino interface, which is then displayed on this laptop. I've shared my idea with 2 children's respiratory therapists who thought that the use of my innovation would help them with some of their tougher patients. Hello, it's foam dart fun! I've come to realize that one of 2 things can happen when thinking of ideas. Number 1, somebody else is going to do it and they'll take credit for it. Or number 2, nobody else will do it ever. Both of these are good motivation. I think that my idea this year fits into the second category. Even if I had explained my idea before I made it to a spirometry company, I doubt it would have gotten much attention. This is why I decided to make it for myself. Sometimes it takes a kid to design for a kid. I feel like my innovation will help kids all around the world who have a fear of medical equipment or are uncomfortable around hospitals like me. Some people invent for fun, and some people invent out of necessity. But what happens when fun is the necessity? This is the case with children's medicine. That's why this children's hospital here looks like a castle. But why stop there? My innovation plans to revolutionize the way people design children's medical equipment, starting with the incentive spirometer. I've already had the amazing experience so far of being able to say, hey, I made that when looking at my innovation, and it's just really great.
Okay,
Yay!
I thought that was great.
That's awesome.
Next up, there's some hack chats coming up, so we're going to get the word out for Hackaday because we also have one coming up. So
Yes.
This Friday,
Yeah.
Hackaday.io hack
Today's
chat, it's fashion tech. And this one is Catherine Blair and Shannon Hoover, the workability and washability of fashion tech. So
That's
tune
cool.
in 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then
Ooh, is there another one coming
there's
up?
another one coming up. It's coming up at the end of February. Dan and Scott are going to do a CircuitPython one, and the exact date, let me make sure I get it right,
Dun, dun, dun.
is Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time.
And what date?
It's the first Friday of February, so February 2nd.
Okay.
So mark your calendars
February
and all
2nd.
that stuff.
2 weeks from now.
We'll be talking about, you'll be there, all the wonderful things. This is like my CircuitPython piano now. It's like ping, 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 ping. We'll be talking about all the wonderful things with CircuitPython and more, and you can ask all your questions, and it's in the hack chat. And since it's 3 p.m., I think we'll be in the office. I'll probably have a camera and like the chat going by.
Yeah.
And you'll be in the chat too. All right, so that's going on. Okay, there is more time travel. Now, some of you were probably wondering, why is the code They Live tonight? What is that?
What is that?
Well, it's a movie. And They Live is 30 years old. This is a John Carpenter film. And happy birthday, John Carpenter. See, I'm keeping the theme with anniversaries and celebrations.
Okay, I'm having fun on set.
Yeah, so this is him with the aliens that are taking over the world. And They Live is a really weird movie. I saw it at a young age, and it really had an impact on me. And
It's funny.
The plot is folks put on these glasses, and then they figure out there's a giant world conspiracy. And when you put the glasses on, you can start to see what things actually say. Obey and conform, no thought, submit, do not question authority, reward obedience.
These sets are great. I mean,
and then, he looks at and this is Rodney Piper, and it had one of the biggest, longest fight scenes in
epic fight scene that makes no sense.
Yeah. So
but it's great.
So that's why the code is They Live. If you haven't seen it, I think it's a really good movie, and that's why we have the code this week. 30 years old. I can't believe that movie is 30 years old now. All right. Open source hardware. We're an open source hardware company.
We are.
And there's other open source hardware companies. In fact, one of the pioneering ones, SparkFun, is celebrating 15 years.
Dun, dun.
This was on their Instagram today. They had some glassware, some beverage things. That's
like
coffee
their
cup,
old logo.
Old logo. Then you have this pint glass, and they have this
Coffee cup.
Yeah, some type of coffee cup metal thing. And they had this infographic they made, and it goes through the milestones. So 2003, Nate launches SparkFun.
Yeah.
2004, graduates, gets his first employee. 2005, creates the portable rotary phone. Make Magazine started around them and coined the term makers. 2006, which is parts laying around. They made a clock, GPS clock. Make Magazine makes the first Maker Faire. SparkFun website was hacked. SparkFun website then gets a facelift. SparkFun, it's their 100,000 order. 2010, Nate reads Chris Anderson booked free. They do free day. And then after free day, they decided to do another one, and that was a discount. SparkFun parts 2012 were used to make a credit card skimmer. And then Maker Camp launches. New York Times reports Made in America is on the rise. 2013, SparkFun's 10 years old. They start on a new building. They sell batch PCB to Oshpark. And 2014, Customs takes the Fluke multimeters away. And 2015, there's the 5th million widget production team adds the Micronic pick and place machine. 2016, 26% of the cities have Maker Fairs. Nate steps down as CEO. Glenn starts, and then 2017 they have their final inventory day. They're on cycle counting for those people who are into that.
Yay,
and then
cycle count.
2018, SparkFun turns 15. So check it out. There's a blog post on it and more. I like the history of maker companies. Back in the day, I used to do that presentation, $1 Million Baby, $1 million or more companies, or which ones are getting close in the open source hardware world. And SparkFun, up until recently, was like the biggest one. We looked at them like, you got all this equipment, you got all this space.
Parallax, Flowloose, SparkFun.
Yeah.
Some company like Parallax has been around, I think, for like at least 20 years, 25 years now.
And they've been doing open source. So anyways, it's a good historic look back.
Yeah.
And check it out. Okay, next up on the big board, Lady
That's like
Ada.
a mix of time travel and open source hardware.
That's right. I plan these things. We have 1,368 guides. What's on the big board this week?
This week, okay, we have the LED breath mask. That's from Mikey Sklar, and used. He made this cool mask. He's into like biohacking, so he had this mask with like a circuit playground and some like NeoPixel strips, and uses a CCS 811 gas sensor, and it can detect how much carbon dioxide it's detecting from your breath. So it's kind of like a futuristic They Live gas breath sensor. So it like doesn't detect outside gas. It detects like gas coming from your breath. I wrote a guide on how to make a standalone programmer for AVRs using CircuitPython. So you can drag a hex file onto your CircuitPython board and then wire it up to an AVR. It's good for if you want to program like Arduino bootloaders or fix a board, if you're making your own PCB. You just have to, program it once with a bootloader or something, or one-time file. The wind-blowing emoji props, that's the video from John Park that we saw. This is a very simple Circuit Playground Express and MakeCode project. We have a guide on how to use servos with CircuitPython Arduino. We've been redoing all the motor control libraries for CircuitPython, so this is the first one on using servos with CircuitPython, so that's good. We've got known pages. Thermal camera with feather wing display. That's going to be this week's project. I'm going to show that video shortly. And then the guide for this week's new product from Fab, which is the SGP30 gas sensor. It's a very nice Sensirion brand gas sensor, which I'm really liking. It's a very high quality, integrated
cool sensor.
air quality sensor. Yeah, it's very nice.
Okay, so if you want to see these and more, it's learn.adafruit.com. And we are slowly
1,300 others.
approaching 2,000 tutorials.
We'll
get
get
there.
1,500. 1,500 coming very soon. Couple months from now.
Okay, next up. Made in New York City. We have footage from the factory here. Take it away. Machines, people, and more. This is... There's no sound. I thought that video had sound, but apparently it doesn't.
What's this auto bagging?
Oh, I see why.
Why?
I hear some sound.
Oh. Ka-chunk.
some more. This is just some footage from the AxiDraw that we put together. This is from Evil Mad Scientist Laboratories. And this is drawing a comic book character series, Akira. Obviously it's sped up. Here is the laser cutter. Slow motion.
Oh, that's cool.
Tick, 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 tick. And as always, we have a time lapse or more. This is a time lapse outside our window, and you can see the little planes go by in the sky.
That's neat.
Beautiful New York City skyline. That's outside our window. Okay, 3D printing. Noah and Pedro printing up a storm. This week, we already talked about this. We said it was coming. It's the thermal camera.
This is super cool. That's
Yeah.
what you've been wanting.
It can be cool and warm.
It's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
show both. Okay,
Do it.
take it away.
In this project, we'll show you how to build a simple thermal camera. This little thermal camera can sense the surface temperature of nearby objects and displays them as a colorful heat map. This Adafruit breakout features a grid eye sensor, and it uses an 8x8 array of IR thermal sensors that can return 64 individual temperature readings. Temperatures are rendered in real time and are displayed as different colors to form a heat map. The code is running off an Adafruit Huzzah ESP32, which is fast enough to process and render the temperature data. For this project, I'm using the demo code from Adafruit, which is included with the Arduino library, and it supports different microcontrollers. I put together a wiring diagram for this project in our learning guide, along with the assembly instructions and source files so you can remix and modify. Once I had the prototype up and running, I started designing an enclosure. I made the camera body in Fusion 360 to house the electronics and designed separate pieces that will snap fit together. This CAD explosion shows how all the pieces are assembled and will fit together. The electronics are stacked and secured to the cover, which then slides into the camera body. The sensor is mounted to the lens cover and fits into the frame. All of the parts are of course 3D printed in these very 80s colors, which I got from Melt Ink 3D. All of the electronics can be purchased from Adafruit. Once we have everything in place, it's time to get building. I started by cutting up some wires and hooking them up to the breakout. Then I solder them to a strip of male header pins, and this will make it so I can plug them directly into the display. The feather fits over the headers on the TFT feather wing, and then I started plugging in the header pins from the sensor. I mounted the sensor to the little lens cover and secured it in place with machine screws. I just had to make sure the actual lens of the sensor lines up with the small hole in the center. The feather and TFT are placed on the back cover and secured with additional machine screws. Then I tacked the battery to the back of the display so it's held in place. I needed to orient the screen with the sensor before putting it all together, so I had to play around with it a bit to just match them up. The lens cover is press fitted into the frame and just snaps together. The edges of the back cover is then installed to the camera body. The top and the bottom covers are fitted over the body, and it holds the whole assembly together nicely. These little nubs lock onto the sides of the body, making a pretty secure fit. This project wouldn't look as cute without these stickers from Pyromoni. So this sensor is actually pretty accurate and can measure temperatures ranging from 0 to 80°C. Obviously, this sensor is a great way to add heat vision to your DIY projects, and I hope this inspires you to check them out from Adafruit. The product page also claims it can detect a human from a distance of up to 7 meters, so that's good to know. Designing the camera body was a nice exercise in 3D modeling, and now I have yet another cute project to add to the list of the many awesome projects on the Adafruit Learning System.
Okay, and you have the camera here.
Yeah, oh wait, I have to turn it on. So turn on. Boots up fast and you can see
Yeah,
me,
I'm usually warm.
you. There's two of us.
Yeah,
This
we're
one.
sharing heat.
Eh.
Look, I'm gonna morph.
Morph.
Morphing. Okay.
Okay. That's cool. It's a fun project.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's only 8x8, but the software does some interpolation to make it look like it's 16 by 16 or 24 by 24.
And Noam Pedro made this really cool little egg holder. It's a sped up video.
Okay.
You guys see it's super cute.
I'm gonna hold my eggs.
Yep. Egg to D2. Okay, so 3D Hangouts is every Wednesday with Noam Pedro, and of course, if you liked seeing these projects, if you want to see how they're built, how they're made, the process, layer by layer, all the things that go into all these projects, you can check that out every Wednesday. It's also on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Adafruit. A little bit more time to get an AdaBox
Okay.
before we get to new products. So this one's coming up, 007. I promise surprises and mysteries and puzzles.
It's gonna be really fun.
Yeah.
We're
and
tossing in some, like, we're gonna have a lot
there's
of
some cool stuff.
projects, all sorts of skill levels, all sorts of experience.
Now, a lot of folks who watch, they may be an AdaBox subscriber. If you are, that's great. Thank you. If you know, like a young person or someone's like, oh, I want to get my kid into something, sign them up.
Yeah.
You can give it as a gift. And here's a little video about some of the things that might be in AdaBoxes, maybe, or some of the ideas we have. Here we go. Okay, and before we go to new products, one last thing. Don't forget we have the new products newsletter. If you're an account member on Adafruit, this is the only way to do it. We don't spam. You have to sign up for it. We make it tough because we do not spam at all. Okay, They Live's a code. Lady Ada, it is time. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
New. Everybody wants new.
Okay, new products this week.
Okay,
this is coming soon. We're stocking the Naomi cover of Make. They're on order. They're on their way. People are signing up. When we sell them out, that's it. So
One-time purchase.
Yeah. So this is it, and it has a story about the sign of it. It has a ton of amazing women from Shenzhen that are featured. Hep was a photographer. There's a couple really neat articles. I have it on my digital subscription, and I'm looking forward to the printed one as well.
Yeah.
So that's coming soon.
It's cool. Great cover.
Okay, next up.
Okay. We have a pack of nylon, translucent M2.5 screws and standoffs. You get a couple hundred pieces, a lot of like little screws and hex nuts. But also standoffs, both hex through and also like extender standoffs. I can show those on the overhead. These are handy because, first off, you get a bunch. They're great for putting stuff together. And they also fit all of our breakouts. So all of our breakouts tend to have 0.1 inch holes in them. So if you want to attach our breakouts to things,
That's handy.
you know, and you get also like these versions, so you can make like little standoff kits and then, you know, attach this to this. And they're nylon, so they're non-conductor, so you don't have to worry about it getting in the way of your antenna or your capacitive touch. And now you've got nice solid connectivity. So yeah, you get like a bunch of, these are small little screws, hex nuts, Some slightly longer screws, even longer screws. I think these are like 16th, 1/8, and 1/4 inch. And then a bunch of standoffs in different sizes. More of the smaller ones and then fewer of the bigger ones. And they're in this translucent white nylon, so maybe good for you. We also have them in black, but I think these are a little less expensive because in this kit we got more components in the white version, so I don't know, mix and match.
Maybe the absence of pigment.
Yeah, I think to pigment them actually, it probably costs a little more.
Yeah.
Come in this handy storage box, which is nice and secure. You don't have to worry about losing the parts.
Okay. Next up. This is one of my favorite products this week.
Soldering iron.
Yep.
This is the best iron.
I like it.
And it's called Best. It's the brand. But it's actually a very nice iron. We carry a bunch of tools by Best. And so they're like, hey, we have this iron. And we're like, this is actually a really nice iron. So, usually for a lot of work we do, we have a plug-in model that has like a base and then an adjustable. But this is a non-base. This is just you get the pen and a plug. But it has an adjuster controller box, and it's really nice, and you can adjust the temperature. Also, you can use it with Hakko tips, which is a really nice new trend. So it comes with a pretty good tip. We got them to provide it with the conical tip. So you can use it for SMT and through-hole. But we also have a bunch of tips for, very fine pitch SMT all the way to large through-hole available, the Hakko tips, and you can just swap them out. So I can show this on the overhead. I'll bring this out a little bit. Okay. So, yes, this is like a nice, it's not too heavy, it's nice and skinny, and it's rubbery, so it's light and comfortable. If you unscrew this, you can see that you can change out the tips. These are Hakko tip compatible with a ceramic heater inside. And you screw that on. Don't do that while it's hot, of course. And then, it has a grounded US plug, and then here is the control box. So I can turn this on and then press the little button here to make the temperature hotter or colder. So I'll set it to like 380. And then I can even use my thermal camera maybe to look at this. Oh my goodness, look, it's getting hot. Getting hotter. Okay, it's hot. So yeah, don't touch it because it's hot. It heats up quite fast for a plug-in iron. And then it works quite well. We put together a couple projects with this, and I was like, this is a really good quality iron. Not only for the cost, just in general. So yeah, it's already hot. So yeah. It heats up almost as fast as a tabletop model, but it's a lot less expensive and it's smaller, and with the adjustable temperature. I think this is a great beginner iron. I think it's one of the nicest beginner irons I've seen. If you don't want to spend like $100 or $50, you can get away with this for quite a long time. Lady tested and approved, looks like all of our stuff. So I like it. The only thing is it doesn't come with a stand, so pick up a stand if you want this, because you don't want it rolling around your table.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna unplug this.
Next
turn off. Okay, next up. Oh, this is actually like 2 items basically in a set. We have we don't have just banana jacks, and people are like, hey, you have banana jacks. So we got banana jacks and banana plugs. This is a set of banana jacks. And instead of having like you buy one of each, we're just gonna have them in a 5-pack. You get one of each color: red, black, blue, green, and yellow. This is fully disassembled, but they're panel mount. So for the banana jacks, you can like drill a hole in your panel mount these, and then you have this nice colored ring that you can plug in any banana. You don't have to use the ones that we sell. Any banana cable will work. Standard 4mm cable. And then on the back there's this nice big solid slug you can solder to. And then we also have stackable banana plugs. So these plugs you can see, can you go back one? There's a little set screw.
Oh, that's cool.
So that screw you unscrew from the end, and then you can poke a wire in and screw it down, and so you can have a stackable plug that is like you don't need to solder or anything. You can just screw it on. So these are really nice. I thought I'd show these off really fast too. And so the stackable ones, you can barely see it, but inside there's the set screw. And then I just, I plugged in these wires and screwed it down, and then you can stack as many as you want, and then have like, up to I think 22 to 10 gauge wires coming out. And on the other side, if you want to have a jack They plug into the jack very nicely, and of course you have matching colors. And then you can solder to this, or you can alligator clip to it, or maybe even wrap a wire if you're just like that. And then this screws out, and you can panel mount it. It comes with a washer and the screw. So nice, you know, if you want to make a panel or connect to something with panel banana jacks. This is super easy, and you give a little kit of pieces in multiple colors.
Okay. Next up, it's kind of a big deal. It is not a new Raspberry Pi, but a new addition.
Yes,
to the Raspberry
new
Pi.
model. This is the Pi Zero WH. It's just like the Pi Zero W, 1.3 with the camera connector, has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It's actually the same exact board, except
something different.
They solder the header on for you. So if you don't want to do any soldering at all, you want to just have a plug-and-play project where you plug in a bonnet or a hat or a fat or, you know, wires or whatever. It's a little more expensive because they have to do the hand soldering, which is, it does take time. So if you're willing to do it, pick up the soldering iron. Maybe pick up this iron and do it yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, you can get a Pi Zero WH, and it comes with the headers already attached. Otherwise, it's exactly the same.
Okay. Next up, the star of the show tonight, besides you and the community, is...
Wow, the SGP30. Actually, a lot of people emailed and said, hey, will you make a breakout for this? And we're like, yeah, we will. And we finally did. This is a MOX gas sensor from Sensirion. They call it the multi-pixel sensor. I think they have multiple depositions of metal oxide, tin oxide that they use for gas sensing. This is a really nice gas sensor. So we have a couple different gas sensors. We have the analog ones. And the analog ones, you literally just get like an analog reading or resistor reading, and you have to do all the math yourself. And then we have ones like the integrated ones like the BME 680, which also give you the raw resistance. And they have a library, but it's not open source, and you can't integrate it with Arduino, so it's a little tougher to use. And then we have the CCS 811, which is a fully integrated sensor, like this one, where the sensor basically just gives you like the effective carbon dioxide and the total volatile organic compound in parts per million, parts per billion. The nice thing about this sensor is, unlike the analog sensors, it doesn't, you can get the raw reading if you want, but it'll calculate all the data for you. Unlike the CCS 811, it doesn't require I2C clock stretching, and it has humidity setting function. So if you set the humidity, it will calibrate with the humidity. It also has a calibration pre-done for you, so it should be much better than the CCS 811 long term. If you can store that calibration byte and then reload it from your microcontroller. And unlike the BME 680, it doesn't include all the extra sensors, but you don't need to use this closed source library. So this is a nice sensor. It can be used by any microcontroller or computer. We have Arduino code and CircuitPython code, but it's very easy to use if you want to port it to another platform. It's like very simple I2C calls. Okay. Nice little gas sensor. Comes with on the breakout, ready to go.
And that is new products. Recap in a sec. Okay, Lady Ada, recap.
Okay, new products this week. We've got a multiple M2.5 nylon screw, hex nut, and standoff kit. Comes with hundreds of little pieces, great for attaching your electronics. This is the best pen soldering iron. This is a plug-in soldering iron, but it's really light, very flexible, and it has a temperature adjust. This heats up very fast. You can even use Hacko tips for it. Makes it a really great starter iron. Banana jacks. Go bananas for these 5-color banana jacks. You get one of each color. These are panel mount. They're easy to solder to. We also have stackable banana plugs, which are solder free. They have a set screw. Very easy to use with each other or with those banana jacks. We have the Raspberry Pi Zero 8WH, which is the header version of Raspberry Pi Zero W. It's the Raspberry Pi Zero with Wi-Fi, with camera connector, with Bluetooth, and it has that 2x20 pin header pre-soldered for you. And the Sensirion SGP30, this is a really nice volatile organic compound gas sensor. Can do effective carbon dioxide, total volatile organic compound. Gives you I2C output, very easy to use, and does all the calculation calibration for you. That was new products.
Okay, don't forget the code is They Live.
They Live.
10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern time.
You can tell we're not aliens because we are hot.
Yeah. All right, we have some top secret. Let's do it.
Dun, dun, dun.
From the vault. All
Okay,
right, so this is a preview. Something that's going to be in our store soon, or maybe it's a giveaway, or maybe it's something.
Yeah.
Here we go. You ready, Lady Ada?
Yeah, it's...
Show it off. It's not that.
No, it's not that. So I'm putting away the new products.
Yeah.
We got these cool samples. These are Boldport designed PCB coasters.
Yep, we teamed up with Bullport. We've got coasters. These are gonna last a lifetime.
Yeah, these are really nice. So they're transparent solder masks. They look like copper, but it's not exposed copper. And you can even see there's a little gold enig for highlighting. So this is the one with Hans and AdaBot. And then we have this one, which are the 3 LED friends. And this is AdaBot playing with the 3 LED friends, Billy, Gus, and Ruby.
A long time ago,
Cappy.
we got coasters from Advanced Circuits, and we're like, one day we'll be able to do this.
Yeah.
It was like 10 years ago.
This is a lot of copper.
Yeah.
Cappy.
Yep.
The capacitor. And then I don't know where the third one went.
Oh, maybe
I don't know. There was 3.
Yeah, I think.
But you know, whatever. Maybe you know, if you're from the vault, you don't always get everything.
Yeah. There's some more surprises. Okay, back in the vault.
Back in the vault with you.
Don't ask questions about these.
Don't ask questions about these coasters.
Okay, it's question time, Lady Ada.
Okay.
The questions.
Not about coasters.
Not about coasters. The only place you can ask your questions is Adafruit IT/Discord. All right. Okay. Someone wanted some tips on a line following robot from a while ago. Let me see if I can find that question. I'm trying to program a line following robot. It will need to follow a black line, so I'm using infrared sensors and a motor shield, version 1 Adafruit plus an Arduino Uno. But I noticed a delay to read the infrared sensor and send the commands to the motors without delay at the program. Is that because the shift register 74HC595 is on the shield?
I don't think so. I don't think the 74HC595 on that shield, which by the way, we haven't manufactured that shield in like 6 years, so I'm impressed you have one. It's not very slow. It's in fact faster than the I2C one we have now, so it's something else in your program.
Someone said, why did Colin leave Adafruit? He didn't. He was just on the show until I saw him today. He's still around.
And nothing's changed in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He's
awkward.
He's here.
No, he's
here all the time.
I just saw him yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. I think you meant Make Magazine. That was a long time ago. Why would I use something like the NRF52 versus the 32U4 Bluefruit?
The NRF52 is a lot more powerful, and you're programming it directly, so it's a little less expensive because you don't have 2 chips. And the NRF52 can do central mode. On the other hand, if you have something that has like specific timing stuff that you want to make sure, because the NRF52 has to do that radio stuff and your program at the same time. For those situations are where you're comfortable with Arduino code or AVR code, that's when maybe you want to use the 32U4, because the 32U4 will do just your program stuff and the Bluefruit module just do the Bluetooth stuff and they communicate. But I think the NRF52 is kind of like, that's where I'm pushing people, because it's more powerful, it can do more, and I think it's you get more for your money basically, because it's more flash, more RAM, more capabilities, and yeah, you can do central mode, and Bluetooth 5 will come out for it. So that's possible, whereas the 32U4 has an NRF51, which is much older Bluetooth chip. Okay, question. Any recommendations for a board-to-board connector that supports hot plugging? Some contacts longer than others. I don't know, use header. Header works.
Yeah, I could probably make it work.
Yeah.
Okay, bonus points for using something that would not be confused or USB, SATA, etc.
Yeah, don't use stuff that's already used for something.
Okay.
IDC connectors are great. I mean, simple. Molex connectors are great. Simple.
Okay. I invented something. Now what to do with it? Write a guide.
Yeah, write it up. Share it with the world.
Yeah.
You write it up on Instructables.
Make a video.
Show up on Show and Tell. Next
question. Could the 8x8 thermal imaging sensor be used to detect a person in a room?
Yes. That's actually what they sell it for.
Okay.
I've never used it for that, but in theory, yeah, you would detect a warm thing.
Is the new Vox sensor more accurate than the CS81111?
I don't, know for sure. They actually say it's accurate. They promise an accuracy of 15%. They say it's pre-calibrated. Sensorion makes pretty good sensors, so, you know, and this is not, like, they've done a lot of environmental sensors, so if I had a choice, I would trust the SGP30, but I have no way of actually calibrating it, if that makes sense. But it seems like a very good sensor. Like, I would use it just because it doesn't require clock stretching.
Okay. Next up, let's see. Someone said this is part of a upcoming project they're working on, a AMG833 plus some deep learning.
That's cool.
Okay. Don't forget, you've got to go to
Discord
for this. However, this person is probably going to go there now, so I will help them out. Question, should it be possible to upload over the air to the SAMD21 on the Feather M0 Wi-Fi SAMD21 Plus at Wink 1500?
It isn't, because it's not set up to do that. There's no bootloader that does over the air. For over the air, I would suggest something like the ESP8266, but honestly, over the air is really hard to do unless you really thought it through. Like, if you look at the NRF52, especially using Minute, you know, they actually set aside half of the memory, and they have like bank swapping, and like they really thought through how to do over the air programming. I don't think it's a good idea to try to mush over the air onto something that isn't designed for it. So I don't really recommend it. Particle does really good over the air programming, but that's like their whole thing. Like, they've spent years getting it right. So that's kind of what I recommend for over the air programming.
Is there an up to temperature indicator? Like when something gets to a certain temperature, something happens?
There's thermal limit switches that, you know, the metal bends and it opens a contact when it hits a temperature. We don't sell them, but you can buy them from like DigiKey and stuff. They're like thermal fuses.
Okay. Let's see. Can the Raspberry Pi 3 with stepper motor driver work as a 3D scanner?
You could. I think we even posted today, somebody made a 3D printer, 3D scanner with the Raspberry Pi.
How often do you deal with the line down situation? Very rare. I think there's only been, like one of the parts, one of the control boards went, and it was here the next day.
Maybe once every 3 months or 4 months. But it's usually down for a day, we fix it.
Yeah, we have maintenance contracts, and we make sure that we do a good job with the machine, so, yeah.
I mean, we bought them new or
we
under
bought them new.
warranty.
Here's the other thing. We decided not to do contract manufacturing. The only exception was when we were helping out Arduino, when we were making Arduinos in the USA for them. And that's the only time we took on outside stuff. And generally, we don't really want to run the machines all the time. They're made to run all the time, but we really focus on our products. So I think the lifespan and the wear and tear on these machines is probably low because we just make Adafruit products. And right now, we just do Adafruit products. That is it.
It's very clean here, too, so they don't get dirty.
Okay, last question. I am on a Vex Robotics team and looking for outside advice on design issues. Could you do a conference call with us? No, but I would say, because we only have one Lady Ada, but check out the Discord channel and ask the folks there if it's something involving Adafruit stuff, that's fine. But Lady Ada gets asked to be on one-on-one engineering calls all the time. We would not be able to get stuff done.
I'd be out of engineering.
We'd be out of Adafruit biz. Okay, that is the questions for tonight, Lady Ada. Good work. All right, let's do a trivia question. What are the rules for the trivia contest in question, Lady Ada?
The rules are, if you've won before, you can't win again, only one winner per lifetime. The first person to call the phone number when it appears on the screen, and it rings, and I pick it up, and I answer the 3 magical questions, and you answer them, is the winner. Yeah. I'm going to ask you your name, where you're calling from, and a project that you're working on or you want to work on, and you'll win today's prize, which is an SGP30 sensor.
You're going to win this. Okay.
Amazing. Very handy. Gas sensor, maybe useful for your project.
Okay. The phone lines are open. Call this number.
Call this number now.
And that is how you do it.
No.
All right.
Call it.
Let's see. So that's the phone number. OwnBitstab. You have to figure out the numbers from the letters, and then you call.
Challenging.
Yeah, it's like a little puzzle.
You made them darker.
Yeah.
That should make it a little easier.
That's easier to read it now.
Nah, it's easier.
So let's see who's going to call.
I'll call.
Ring.
Ring, ring.
Ring, ring.
Ring, ring.
Someone has a telephone number.
Yay! I hope they don't hang up on me.
Okay, go ahead and answer.
Hello there, you've reached Ask an Engineer.
Hey, how are you?
Hello, you're the winner of the fabulous prize. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Keith from Memphis again.
Hey, Keith from Memphis again. Wait, did you
How
already
are you
win?
doing?
Did you already win something?
I did about a month ago. Some of the itsy bitsies.
Oh
Hey,
no.
you can't win twice. That's the
I
rule.
can't.
No, that's the rule. That's why I said only one winner per my lifetime.
She's still alive.
Oh no.
No, I'm sorry. But thank you for being honest.
Oh.
He's gonna call back. It's Kevin.
But nobody else is calling.
Yeah.
Well,
It's okay. Well, we're gonna hang up now. We're gonna hang up now, and we're gonna let someone else
yeah,
get a call.
someone else can call. Okay.
But thanks for calling.
So keep watching.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. You thought it was over, folks, but you know you can still call. Ooh. You should make sure it's not the same guy.
It's Robert from Memphis.
It's Zach.
Hello there. You reached Ask an Engineer. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. You're the winner because you called first and you haven't won before. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name's Mike, and I'm from Hawker Heights, Texas.
Wow. Okay,
Hi.
Mike from Texas. Well, thank you for calling. You're going to be the fabulous winner of this prize. Why don't you tell us a project you're working on or something you want to work on?
I'm turning my original Raspberry Pi B into a Samba Linux share for files.
That's useful. Keep your files backed up. Well, we're going to send you this cool sensor, and maybe you'll build something neat with it. All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com, support@adafruit.com, and say, hey, I'm Mike from Texas, and I won a 3709. That's the gas sensor, and they're going to send it to you for free.
All right, that's awesome.
It's totally awesome. Well, thank you for calling, and show off your Samba Share project or something you build on Show and Tell sometime. We'd love to have you.
All right.
All right, well,
thank
thanks.
you.
Have a great night. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. And if you didn't win, don't despair. You can still use the code They Live. That's 10% off all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Lady Ada, that's the show tonight.
Yay! Thanks, everybody. That was great.
Yeah, good work, everyone. Thank you, all the Adafruit team members, all the remote team members, the community, everyone out there. Thank you so much. We'll be here next week, 8 p.m. We have a lot more projects to share. Cool news, new products, surprises, all that and more.
Hot things and pinching things.
That's right.
It was a nightmare.
Yep.
All right, let's get out of here.
Okay.
Show them
Thank
the cat.
you, everyone. This is MOSFET the Cat. And here is your moment of Zener. Good night, everybody.
Good night.